attempting to get the live stream going. Oh, the thing is, where we got our camera, I can't see you.
There's no good place to put that camera and capture everything.
I need to close my own chat. Alright.
Yeah.
Because now the audio is just going to keep repeating, and it's going to end up being like, techno. No, we had a techno thing going here.
Where I could set this.
I think I may have a solution to both of our problems, Mike. If Dylan doesn't mind me getting real personal with him too.
Okay.
If I kind of turn the side maybe and kind of do this, I can probably sustain this for the better part of the podcast.
Yeah, Dylan's still blocking all of you.
Well,
yeah, I mean, because I have to kind of lean forward too. But
right. That you know he probably doesn't block this right here, but you know.
Oh, this is excellent. this is television gold. I'll just hold it.
It's gonna be the
God,
Cloverfield
that
podcast.
Do we have anybody in chat?
I hope you're streaming.
Do we have anybody in
this.
chat?
I'm looking. Oh shit, it's a live stream.
Oh damn!
And it doesn't get any liver than this.
Zoom.
Wayne's World, Wayne's World, Wayne's World, party time, excellent.
We didn't really plan this well.
No, we didn't.
Planning's for suckers.
No, you
Successful suckers.
No, wait.
Not-
All I gotta do is get... Now, I don't know if Sicily slides up. I'm like...
This is not a television studio. This is an office.
I think I should go get something to drink, and then I'll come back right.
Okay.
Yeah,
since
we
we're
got
about
about
to
like
start.
5 minutes before the actual show starts. So,
Okay, sounds good.
alcohol is good, so...
Not bad.
Oh, okay, Jen. Since you know the show's not started, there you go. I did it.
Oh.
Oh, and the boob barrier has been broken.
Yep. By this guy.
Wasn't
She said she loves you.
Who's got 2 thumbs and has shown his boob on air?
Wasn't
guy.
didn't the Z-Man like last week make 2 jokes about me getting naked on camera or something? It was really unsettling because I remember it happened twice. Like he continued the joke and I was like, okay.
That was for you, boss. Sorry, ladies. I'm taken.
Alright, so I don't know if you could you set yourself up where you lean back anymore?
Me?
Yeah.
Yes, I think so.
Because you could probably
Kind of.
turn that, because it's kind of at an angle right now.
That'll work, I guess.
Like this is at an
Ah.
angle, like that. See? You can get totally close to that button.
Here, hubby.
Hey,
The Starship Enterprise.
delicious
called you.
pop screen. Part of this balanced breakfast.
The saucer section should separate.
I can lean back.
Yes. So the rest of us can
And
stay behind to fight.
relax.
We really got to get that worked out, I guess. I don't know.
You can kind of see me. I'm in red.
Yep.
Lady in red.
The whole thing is like...
Mommy's not gonna give you mommy's bottle.
Just a little.
Nah. Not on camera.
Oh. Well.
Where they can call child services on me.
I'm pretty sure if you talk about the fact that you do it enough, they can call child services on you.
Yeah, but she will.
Did you not remember what you did last week with the bottle?
I put it in her face. But she didn't even get to mouth it.
I'm actually coming in okay because I'm kind of at an odd angle here to the mic.
Yeah, it's
It's picking up. Okay.
You could probably you're number 1. You could ever so slightly roll your dial up.
I didn't know if I needed to adjust it. Which is one?
Below, yeah, that
This
one.
one.
All right.
Check.
Yeah.
Can you
Am I
hear me
coming
out
in?
there in Radioland?
Now see, well,
There was a
I
I'm
yes,
back.
Dylan.
popped all over the place.
Dylan's number one. That's not trolling, Jennifer.
Okay.
That's trolling to me. I take exception to that. But I'm a competitive guy. I think everybody knows this by now.
Yes. That's
Me
mild.
too. I'm a competitive gamer.
Yes. I'm a professional gamer. I've made $10 off of Marvel 3. Thank you very much.
We've got a few seconds to kill. How are you coming along in Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts?
It's pretty awful. I'm just going to do the video and call it done, and just be over with it. So I can send it back to you where it has a loving home instead of with a family that hates it.
That's so wrong.
Game Protective Services.
I'm sorry. It's just like, be Battletoads, damn you. But it won't do it.
No.
It won't listen. It won't be good rare.
Battle-
How's chat look? What do we got?
We got people in.
So, how many people normally listen to this live?
Less than you think.
Estimated 30.
Yeah.
Oh,
the
that's
live count.
cool.
I don't know how they do.
I
those
didn't see
numbers.
any comments on the site, so I was like, oh, I wonder if anyone's going to be listening.
Yeah, I think the Justin TV will report live like somewhere between 35 and 40, and then Feedburner reports like 60 plus on the
Podcast itself,
subscriptions,
yeah.
But it does greatly vary by topic, and a lot of our audience is developers.
So, yeah.
So
Oh, good. So hopefully they'll be like, oh, I need voice actors. I mean,
yeah,
I'll be
yeah, I mean, that's
sick, so
why-
I'm going to sound like, I'm Ash Ketchum, but, you know.
Yeah, so I mean that's kind of why I wanted to have you on the show, because I mean a lot of our show is developers. So I think you bumped me down.
Me?
Yeah, just ever so slightly, just a very slight touch. Is the one above you? Yeah,
This one?
Just-
I
just-
might have touched it.
just a little bit. Check out a little bit more. Check. Keep going up. Keep going up. Keep going up.
When you say
keep,
slide, I'm doing it
keep going up.
very,
Yes.
very
Oh wait. Oh,
slightly.
right there. Yeah.
Okay.
Like I'm not. Yeah. That
Okay.
was a difference of like 12 decibels.
All right.
Yeah. Analog, baby. Analog dials. All right. Let me open my beer and then we'll start.
Priorities.
Oh, you know what? I didn't send the we're live tweet.
Probably a good idea, and we can all retweet that.
All right. Stand by for retweeting.
Standing by.
I posted earlier.
Actually, GameMarx sent out a
Yeah. Well, just
Justin
TV
TV.
sends out something,
okay.
but there's I don't think there's the right hashtags on it to get noticed.
I was watching Macross earlier.
Like original old school Macross.
No, I think they have that on. It's like a few versions down.
Oh no, I mean not Macross. Robotech,
Now that they
Macross
have
City.
old school
Okay, yeah. Either one. You know, it's funny. I watched Robotech and Voltron as a kid, and
I knew it
and
sucked,
I liked.
but I liked it.
Well, I liked Voltron better as a kid than I did as Robotech, but as I've gotten older and I've watched them both again, Robotech holds up much better. Whereas Voltron has such thrilling episodes as Planet Doom boycotts the Space Olympics. Honest to God, actual episode title.
All right, tweet has been sent.
Tweet has been retweeted.
Retweeting. Stand
Okay.
by.
When we
Retweeting.
start the show here, we do a quick little ad at the very beginning. So me and Dylan will do that, and then I'll kick off the show and introduce everybody. And then you're set.
Yes.
Who do we have in chat? Do we have Is Bob the Builder on, or do you have Stegs, or?
I have not seen either of them as yet.
Ah, okay.
Good, our inaccuracies will go unnoticed.
Nope, they're Stegs. Yay!
Yeah, they're Stegs. All right. Well. Okay. Hey, Dylan.
Hey, Mike.
Hey, Dylan. I heard you've been checking out the Sunburn Gaming Engine.
Yeah, I've started kind of playing with it to get a handle on it for when we start Rocks.
So, when you go in and you start making a game, you've got to see shit.
Yes.
So, what did you start with?
Well, I dropped in the dojo example that they've got, and you can move around there. You can kind of control your camera, but you don't actually see any player characters. So you can start dragging in models. Or you can go in and code and load models from your content project and submit them into the scene and have the scene handle them.
Now, having a static camera is, that's all good and well, but you went advanced and made the follow camera.
I wouldn't really call that advanced.
Seen in such titles as Halo 3 and Gears of War.
And every other 3D third-person game ever.
So, but this was out-of-the-box functionality, right, for the follow camera?
More or less. Basically, you can either create an object, pull your model in from the content project, submit it to the scene, or you can go into the scene and grab an object from the scene, and you can get the world position and then use that world position of the object to figure out where you position your camera.
So, did you have to mess with sine?
Sine? No, I did
Cosine?
not actually have to mess with sine or cosine.
Arctangent too?
No, I mean, I just, you grab the object, it has the world transform, you can decompose that into your scale, rotation, and translation, and you can play with those.
So you've made my entire 3D game programming primer book irrelevant by using the Sunburn game engine.
For now. I'm sure you probably want to do things that require the use of sine and cosine and things like that.
At some point, you probably do. But to get things up like a simple camera, and then to do a different kind of camera, to do a follow camera, things get pretty simple with the Sunburn Gaming Engine. And if you want to use the Sunburn Gaming Engine in your game, jump over to synapsegaming.com and check out the Sunburn Gaming Engine. All right, everyone. Welcome to the show. That is Jasmine, who is not pleased at the moment with the quality thus far. We will raise the bar in hopes to appease her.
She noticed, hey, we're starting.
The chat has gone on the floor now.
I can still
by
see
the
it.
demand and decree of the baby, who, if she doesn't get her bottle here in a second, is going to be violent.
It's going to be.
All right. Of course, we have Jasmine, we have Cicely, Dylan, Mike, myself. We have on the show John Robbins, John from Chainsaw Buffet and Anime Roundup. And one of the cool reasons we brought John on the show, you have done a lot, 20?
30.
30? 30 interviews with voice actors. Were they all Anime Realm, or did you...
Well, most are all either video games and or anime. Some have a stronger leaning towards one or the other, but...
So when I was talking to John about our guest this week, he wanted to come on the show, and I am very happy to have him on the show with our very special guest, Rina-chan.
Hello.
Okay, you're there. You didn't drop. Got
No,
nervous
I'm
for a
here,
moment.
but I'm very sick, so I'm gonna sound like "Go Pikachu" most of the time.
Yes. I will not make you do voices so that you can save the voice for actual discussion on the show, but I do encourage anybody, I'll put a link in the show notes to your website, to go play your demo reels. Honestly, this is the honest truth. When I went and first played your demo reel, I didn't read the site because fuck reading.
TLDR?
I thought you were like a professional anime game actress. Like you were in like, holy crap, she's done all these games and all these animes, because the voices that you did were so well. I mistaked it for the actual voices that you were based on. And then I was kind of surprised to find out how early in your career you are. So
Yeah.
most of your work, though, right now is on Newgrounds?
Yeah.
So what is it mostly that you do? What is most of the voice work that you've done so far?
Well, I have done a few official things, but I'm in Alaska right now, so I have to kind of hold off on that till later this year when I move. As of now, I do a lot of things on Newgrounds, like Flash animations, original games, like, like independent online games and stuff. I would love to do more console games, but not a lot of people have responded to my postings. Yeah, like YouTube videos, things like that.
So the posting we're talking about, a month or so back, again, I professionally stalk the forums. I read every post that's going through there. Rina posted in there that she was willing to work with indie gamers and on indie games, and I was surprised when you mentioned for free, because I would pay you. I would gladly pay you to be on the game. And I was kind of surprised to learn like a couple contacts, but nobody really followed up to have you work in the game. So I thought let's come on the show, since we have a lot of developers in the audience, and let's just pretty much work through the process of like how you should set up and work with and bring in. Because even if you're just doing some intro screens or something, like you don't have a lot of dialogue, it's not a role-playing game or something, voice acting can go a long way, because we blow by so many text screens.
Yeah.
Because fuck reading.
Yeah, I've totally done that before. People ask for something like, kind of like the Capcom Presents or whatever.
Awesome. I want to spit my beer on the mic. So, all right, let's just start. How should somebody? What's the preferred way? I'm working on a game, and I'd like to have voice talent in it. At what point should I contact you? Should we pretty much have the game done? Do you want to be involved really early?
I think the best. Every producer does it differently, but I think the best time to contact voice actors is when you have a concrete script done, because if the script's not finalized, people don't really want to record and then have to re-record everything. You have some artwork you can show them, maybe a video, something so we can really get a feel for our characters. Like if I'm voicing a character for something, I want to read her backstory, see how she interacts with the other characters, see a picture so I can try to come up with the right voice. I mean, the upside to having voice actors involved earlier than that is, I suppose you could kind of write a little more to fit the voice actors, but in the sense, the voice actors are playing your characters, so you should find the voice that fits what you want and not the other way around.
Yeah, I guess that's kind of true. Like, the job of the voice actor is to come in and give that role life. But okay, so that's interesting. So one thing you said there too is that rather than just having like these are the dialogue lines, it's very helpful to write more content and see it so there's a backstory, even if that's not in the game, so that you can kind of get into the character.
Yeah, because you don't want the character to sound flat. I mean, if you listen to or you play games that have bad voice acting, that's probably a lot of it. They gave the voice actors a script and said, here are your lines, your character is about this age, go. And, then they seem like really disconnected, like the characters don't even seem to know why they're saying what they are. That's like one of the biggest things I learned as an actress is when you're playing a character, every line you say has to have meaning. You have to have what's the character's reason for saying this line.
Okay, so that out of the way, what I know that you offered, and there are probably some others out there who are looking to build a resume, and just being out there is big, but what are the normal like engagements for payment? What is the normal? Is it by hour of the voice actress's time? Is it per project? Like, how does it work? Or is it just like everything is different?
Oh, everything is different for sure. I mean, for commercial games, when you're working with like an actual company with like a budget, that's a little bit differently. Usually they'll say like, okay, we'll pay you this rate per hour, or this is the rate for the whole game, and you have about this much dialogue and whenever you can get it done. So it's usually one of those two ways. But for independent games, for things online, I always just say donation, because a lot of times people are creating this game, they don't have a budget, they can't really afford to pay voice talent right off the bat. So usually they get them and their friends to do it, and sometimes it doesn't always sound that good because they're like, well, we just don't want to spend money on that right now. So that's why I have my forum where people can, you can request voice actors. Usually if people make money off the game, like if it becomes commercially successful, I say, it's nice to give something back to the voice actors. But the fact that you have a whole community of people who don't require that up front to even look at your script and try reading it, I think that's a really good resource to have. And they're still really talented people who, a lot of them are trying for a career in voice acting. Things like that.
Not just you. So I started, links off your site and your forums and started checking out and realized there's a whole community of mostly Flash and Flash animation movies. But behind it, there's this huge community of up-and-coming voice actors. And to me, it was like, this is crazy that, these indie game developers aren't talking to this circle.
Yeah, I think the same thing. Because a lot of times, I have some amazing voice actors that I know personally, and I think a lot of times the only reason they're not actually working in things like games and anime is because they don't live in LA or New York. That's the biggest thing holding most of us back.
Yeah, definitely. Although it's a job you could do from anywhere, you definitely kind of get to be around the project, so those who are...
Yeah, for most games, they require you to be there, come in, direct you live. You can direct live over Skype and stuff, but sometimes there's ADR, like there's the mouth, if it's a Japanese game or a game in any other language, really, and you have to go along with that, and they just like to have you there.
Back up a second, you had one of my next questions there. When it comes time, so I have a backstory, I have a script. We figured out what donation or a raid or whatever. We've gotten through all that, and now it's time to record the lines. I could say, here, send it to me, and then you send me a bunch of stuff back. And you mentioned Skype as well, but what has worked best for you? What's the good, since we're remote, what's been the best process for you to actually get the lines down to where they felt it was good and you felt it was good?
Well, it can be hard to do live direction because as you experience just trying to set up your interviews, I'm sure everyone's in different time zones, different work schedules. It's kind of difficult to get that going. If there's a lot of line, usually the best method that I've found is people send me the information. They send me maybe the first part of the script and they say, okay, try out the first 10 lines or so. Just give me a few different takes and then I'll work with you on the voice from there. Because I guess that's the easiest way to do it. You have kind of a reference point from the voice actors and then you can say, all right, I'm liking this, but maybe make her a little more angry or, hold back a little more, things like that.
How much description on the character influences the voice like that? Are you looking for... I'm sorry, I went on a weird tangent there for a second for what you said, so this isn't the bad segue. Because I was wondering, on the age of the character and the background, are you looking for the voice, or is it more should I come up and say, hey, Faye from Cowboy Bebop?
That actually really helps me to have that kind of reference as a starting point. And then you can have, in addition to that, maybe a paragraph with just information on the personality, because you can say the voice sounds like Faye or whatever, but the character's personalities might be totally different. So I just need to know that and make sure I'm not falling into a stereotypical, okay, this is this voice I do, and this is that voice I do, and,
All right, so... I think I kind of have some questions answered on the gaming, but I'm going to hand it over to John and let him ask a couple questions here.
Sure. One thing that I'm curious about, with you being in Alaska as opposed to L.A. or Houston or New York, where they do a lot of the voice recording for games and anime and general animation, how do you, as a voice actress in particular, but as an actress as well, how do you go about honing your craft? I mean, what type of resources do you utilize to help you become a better actress or voice actress, as the case may be?
The best thing to do is just practice online. That's what I've been doing for about 7 years now. You know, just audition for Flash movies, audition for machinimas, whatever you can, because you're getting the real chance to audition, you're getting feedback, and sure, maybe it's not something that you're getting paid for, but when you first start out, you're kind of a noob, so I think it took me like a month of auditioning every day to get cast in anything. I was so bad when I first started.
Well, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you there, but when you were talking about first starting out on those online communities, were you able to? Did you find it easy to get feedback from some of the other members from the community who have been there a little bit longer? Was that an easy process to sort of build yourself up into doing some of those Flash projects?
Yeah, I don't know, generally people are really good in those kind of communities about giving constructive criticism. The place you don't want to go to for that is YouTube or even Newgrounds. I mean, voice act for Newgrounds and everything, but if you post on places like that and expect quality feedback, you'll get a little of it, but people will just be like, "Lol, you sound stupid."
First.
Stereotypical YouTube comments.
Yes. We're getting tons of that on GameMarx right now. Like, I don't even know if I'm reading the YouTube comments anymore, or getting into trying to, like, even have a conversation with these. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I posted my Super Smash Brothers Brawl hacks on this YouTube thing, and someone just said, "This is horrible." It's like, okay, care to elaborate?
Of course not. It's the internet. Well, let me ask
But, on the forums, like, we don't allow, everything has to be constructive. You can say, I didn't like this, but you have to be polite and respectful about it and, give the reasons.
Well, let me ask you a question, because you mentioned Smash Brothers Brawl, and that sort of brings me into something that I was hoping to talk a little bit about, because looking down your resume, I see a lot of titles that are near and dear to my heart in the realm of fighting games, and I was just kind of curious: are you yourself? Do you pick the projects, or do the projects pick you, or is it a little bit of both? Are you into those type of games, or is there just a large enough community to where that some of the work is for what you're doing?
Well, I am a competitive Smash player, so I kind of got into the brawl hacking thing on my own. But sometimes people do ask me to do things based on series or games I've never seen or played before, so I usually just try to watch some videos, like look at the character, listen to the original voice, and, because I don't want to make people mad if they think, oh, well, she didn't get this right at all.
Sure. On a tangent there, who is your main in Brawl? Mr.
Game Watch.
Wow. Well, you will get no sympathy from me. That's all I'm going to say about that. I started out in Melee as a Marth player and moved on to Ike. Just I don't know why. I don't play a conventional Ike style, but in any case, I don't want to make.
Well, I'm a Peach and Marth main in Melee.
So, since we're gonna go talk interests and topics, you can settle something between my wife and I here. Would you say?
You will not.
Because I've read her about. I've read.
It will
her
not
pages,
happen.
But would you say that Fully Cooley is the better series over Excel Saga?
It was my favorite, but I enjoyed both of those shows, so,
That is not settling this debt.
But yeah, I prefer Footy Cootie.
Yes. I do as well. It's a much better, tight 6 episodes. The Excel Saga got to rambling.
I'm sorry, I liked Excel Saga.
You're not even on mic, so they don't hear you.
The problem with Excel Saga was Excel. Yeah,
yes.
much like how the problem with Evangelion and Shinji. If you were to remove those characters, I don't know if the show would be, as good, but it would be more tolerable. Although
I can
love
do
Aaron
Excel's
Yelling,
voice. That's the funny thing.
for maybe about 30 seconds before you lose it.
No, I
completely.
used to make these stupid rants. Like, I was bored, so I used to do, like, 7-minute long rants in the Excel voice about people on Newgrounds who made me mad. This was, like, when I was in high school, but, you know.
Do we have anything in chat?
That's because Furikuri didn't last long enough to outstay its welcome.
True.
I was thinking, do we have any questions?
Kind of like Firefly. Kind of like my point on Firefly.
There was a the original Deus Ex on there, but that's all.
There was a what about the original Deus Ex?
Do the original Deus Ex.
Deus Ex, like that was 2 podcasts ago? Maybe more? I can't remember.
And also, we are not going to honor
to
any
pass the
requests from the chats to have our guests do the voices. I'm just going to go ahead and stand up for voice actors everywhere. If you're the guy who says, "Hey, say the line from the show," go out and buy the fucking DVD, you motherfucker.
No,
Do not
hey,
be
I
that
totally will, as long as people don't mind that I sound like butt right now. I just woke up and was sick, so...
It's like somebody calling out, "Do Rocky Top," when they're drunken voices on game day. You do not have to do this.
No, I totally don't mind.
Let me ask you a question, because this is a very serious topic and something that's important to me personally. Do you ever wake up in the morning feeling like Sea Viper? Because I choose a stage and I'm out the door and I'm gonna hit like a sniper. I mean, that's just how it happens for me.
Wow, you remembered that?
I have that song on a CD in my car, largely because I love Juri from Super Street Fighter. She has been on the podcast twice as our guest, and once for Anime Fans Go Back to Japan. Jessica Strauss is a wonderful person. I'm just going to go ahead and say that on record. But it's not about her. It's about you tonight.
Well, I dress up as her character.
That's fun. That's fun.
Yes, I think... I don't know. I'm afraid of saying this to our podcast audience, but Rina has a lot of cosplay photos up on her MySpace page. I would leave it to you to find them.
Some of us may already have found
Or
them
add me
in
on
the past.
Facebook, because no one uses MySpace anymore. I haven't touched it in like a year.
Are they copied over, or are you loading them onto the Facebook page?
I don't have all of them on there, but I have, like, the best ones.
You were really hard to find, like a just regular photo of. For
I don't post them online. I get a lot of haters. I have to be careful.
Oh, because I was like, I just wanted to post like a regular, like I didn't want to post like a cosplay photo for the news article on GameMarx. And
I don't
like,
see why not.
The Twitter was like the closest one that I could find. I was like, I just can't find like a, I could find video. In fact, I love the BlizzCon video that you did with some of the Newgrounds community. That was hilarious.
Oh, yeah. I didn't write that. I just voiced it.
There was the BlizzCon tickets video, and all the... I guess, were they all voice actors?
Yeah. It was, like, people from my forum and stuff. Like, my friend Kimlin was in that, I remember.
Yeah, they were all obviously a community and a little thing, and they were just basically logging in to buy BlizzCon tickets at the same time. Like, only one person gets a code, and then they start killing each other over the code, the one that gets to go to BlizzCon. So that was really good. So, to talk a little bit about, other than having on the show here, we have a game. I wish we were further along in development, because, like, once I found you and I played your voice video, like, I totally would love to have you voice our game. Unfortunately, we don't have much of a game at the moment.
No,
it's really still an idea. It's sad. I've got to... I speak at DevLink next month, so between now and getting ready for then, I have no time for the game, but between now and then, I'm just going to get rid of everything that has to be done that we just have hanging out there, so I can just focus on the game after DevLink. But I have... You see Jasmine on the camera. I have 2 other daughters, and I've already written like this huge backstory because I want to have female leads in our games, but not like boobs up front. Yeah, I mean that's all the female leads. It's even really bad in the indie game section. I mean, it's really
considering some of the games in the indie game section.
You're gonna go for the other corner of that female demographic.
I don't know if I'll have anybody buy. You know, like I don't know if that'll work, but it's just like I want to have something that I could point to my daughters, and you know, it's like, yeah, your dad did that, and you know, proud of that, and not kind of like, yeah, don't dress like the character Daddy created, please. You know, I want my daughters to be able to cosplay the character I create if it gets really popular. You know,
you've been like this ties into the whole Penny Arcade comic.
If you're watching
for
Penny
the past
Arcade
couple
recently, yes, this is exactly that. This is
When did I become my dad?
Well, here's the other thing. It needs to work both ways. Why don't us girls get a lot of fan service, you know? It's like, if guys get boobs in every single game, why can't I have some, like, shirtless Korean guys, you know? I mean, I got Hwarang and Tekken, but that's about it.
You got this right here. That's the best you got.
I think you do get a lot of, like, there are a lot of shirtless guys in games, just
I'm going to say after living 2 years in Korea, though, you really don't want a lot of shirtless Koreans. Male
I
or
do.
female. Like, it's not a lot happening over there. Not by Western standards, at least.
Maybe not in the Korea you visited, but up in best Korea.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I kind of like Nordic men.
What, after, is this after
Thor?
Thor, yeah. I don't think he was actually representative
Don't
of...
care!
Hey, did you see Ninja Assassin? That's one of the best arguments for Korean guys ever.
No, I don't think
I've seen that actor before.
I made fun of that movie for the title because it is redundant, but...
Oh, yeah, but hey, who cares about the plot? It had Rain shirtless the whole movie.
So, yeah, I guess my tact is rather than on saying, like, hey, let's cheapen the males down to the level of the cheap females, I'm going to try to raise it a little bit. But essentially what we're going with is it's going to be a Mech Warrior game in the style of the classic Mech Warriors. In fact, we're actually taking the original Mech Warrior and using that sort of as a template. And the original Mech Warrior basically had a story of a guy who his family or somebody was assassinated, and so he spends the game trying to find this one clan. And we're just substituting in, and you know, it's going to be a woman out for vengeance. Similar,
but I think I don't know. I never played the original series, but I think you're wanting to go different places.
Well, I'm going to go other places. If you've played Mass Effect as a female character, I think that's a good point of reference for us, because I don't know, Rena, did you play Mass Effect?
No, but I have a lot of friends who do.
So you can go in there and you can play as a male or a female character. You basically build your own character, role-playing style. But the dialogue does change if you're a man or a woman. And if you go in as a woman into this bar scene where you're trying to get this drunken, you know, lieutenant to give you some information, he just starts coming on to you if you're a female. Like, hey, baby, quit asking about all that stuff. You know, why don't you just come with me in the back or something? Because there is, like, strippers in this bar and everything, too, that you're in. It's still 18 to 35-year-old Xbox title game. You know, you can't... And this is Mass Effect, so this is alien blue chick sex scene. But her responses in that is, you know, basically like, if you call me princess one more time, you know, my boot's going to be through your throat. And, you know, like, she tolerates it up to a point. So it's a good jumping off point of like a strong character that's her own character that's not
that doesn't play into it or use it.
Yeah, exactly. That walks it well. So not on the show, because I don't want to ramble on the show, but at some point when we get a little closer, I'll definitely start sending you information and look on that. And then I would also like, because you mentioned this to get back on track, you mentioned this in your article, in your post, and you know, kind of through your forums as well. You know a lot of other voice actors. So you can help indie developers like us not only work with you, but find more talent in the game, right?
Yeah, I mean, the best way to do it, I think, is to post an audition, because then you can hear everyone specifically trying out for your characters. Because I could say, well, I think this person might be good, or I think this person might be good, but I still don't know what everyone out there has to offer. So if you post the audition, then you can just hear everybody, and that's really helpful, I think.
From listening to your demo reels and your stuff, what I had in my mind was, not only did you do a couple voices that were closer on, I'm like, oh, that's a strong character. That's got, stuff that I was looking for. But you had such variety that I was thinking you could do 10 voices, because there'll be several incidental characters that have 3 lines in the bar, and they don't have a deep backstory. But if you give her a Cockney accent, then, that makes that character interesting, and then like the next one, you go to this world, and you just, you have like a different take on that character, an old woman or something, give you some information. And I thought by finding voice actresses such as yourself that have a wide range, and then finding a voice actor, a male voice actor voice that has a wide range, it's like that would almost cover us. How interesting, or is that like become, oh, that's a lot of work now, or that's really exciting to do multiple voices in one game?
Oh yeah, I think it's really exciting. I mean, it just kind of depends how big all the roles are, because if you have like too many similar sounding characters and stuff to where people can tell, they might not like that. But if the characters are different enough, then I think it would be fine. I mean, in My Little Pony, a lot of the actresses do like 2 of the main ponies at once.
Speaking of My Little Pony, because my wife has like a garage full of
not
My
an
Little
entire
Ponies.
garage. I have a collection of the early G3s.
She referred to them as G3.
I've only
Yeah,
heard
like
that
that's-
terminology applied towards Transformers.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's
Yes,
scary.
They do that as well for Little Ponies. I thought I saw, I don't know if I saw a tweet or a post, you had something with My Little Pony going on?
Oh yeah, I'm voicing 2 characters for a fan game that people are working on. It's going to be really exciting. I think it's called The Fiends from Dream Valley.
Now, who's our My Little Pony fan? Is
That would be Charlie.
Charlie.
Charlie is our
not
brony.
watching today.
Yeah, Charlie is our brony. We'll have to make sure that he knows to check this out. So I did see that on there. What are you currently working on right now?
Well, not a lot since I don't have a voice right now, but I've just like some online and more Flash movies, things like that.
Okay, all right. Do you have a question?
Not at the moment, really.
Not at the moment?
Yeah.
All right, we might pull up news here in a second. Let me check with chat before I start news. Nothing in chat?
No.
What is the chat talking about?
Oh, we made
Probably
up
talking about My Little Pony.
Oh, they're talking about My Little Ponies? The chat is there. I don't know if it's for the show. It just exists. It's like an excuse for them to get together.
You need an excuse.
Is that what they're talking about? I can't see it, so I was just guessing.
We were making up a game that has everything on roller skates. Apparently now there's mech ponies on roller skates.
Oh, wait. I didn't do this last week. I didn't do my game idea of the week segment.
Okay.
Which
I can't remember, because I think you saved one last time. You had
did,
like 2.
I gave 2 out, but I saved the third. I did not do Hobo Ninja.
Hobo Ninja.
But you have to have the backstory to Hobo Ninja before we can complete the game. So we got office space downtown that we are using kind of as a community outreach. We'll be teaching programming. We're running Knox and A down there, so we're doing game development from down there. And it's just a really cool space, and that we're running community things from. And it's in an area of Knoxville that if you've lived here for 10 years or more, is not a safe area of town.
What's funny is it's at the end of Gay Street. And Gay Street is like, the fancy, it's the place to be. It's right by Market Square. And then you go all the way to the end of the street, you turn a corner, and then boom, it's like you're in a completely different place.
Well, if you've ever been to like Memphis, and you've been to oh shoot, I just forgot the name of the street.
Beale
Beale
Union.
Street. Yeah.
Okay.
And you take one step off that street, or New Orleans. You go down to New Orleans, although I haven't been back post Katrina.
Yes,
Oh,
yes, we
you
did.
have. Yeah. You go down to New Orleans, and you take one step off of Bourbon Street either way, you're mugged and may or may not be left in a ditch. You know, it's like stick to that one street. And this is this area of Knoxville. Like, you don't...
Yes.
It's right next to the
Well,
train track.
it
and the
looks
bus
that
station.
way, but
There's
there
a
are...
Greyhound bus station and a train track.
It's the old city, so you actually have, like, some trendy, nice restaurants and places in there. You do now.
There's been a whole revitalization effort, and it's perfectly safe. There are 20-something little college girls jogging there at, like, midnight. And then it's nothing. It's just a, completely fine. People live there.
But we are not used to it.
I am not used to it at all. And I come out of the building 11:30 at night, and I'm freaked the fuck out. I am panicked. And one night walking back to the truck, which is the last night that I parked under the bridge.
Yeah.
So you can choose to park on top of the bridge or under the bridge. Both are free. Okay? I parked under the bridge, and I'm walking back. And as the road's going above me, so I'm walking flat, the road's going up, so it's going above my head, I started to panic that somebody was going to jump off the top of the bridge. This is like a 40-foot drop, maybe?
I should note you're not afraid of the alleyways that go under the little incline.
No, we're afraid of them,
That
but
look like
less
a dungeon,
No, that's creepy too, to run out the side. But that wasn't the one that was in my head at the moment. So as it's going up,
This is
it
a
was
great
like somebody
ad
would
for Tech Co-op, by the way.
jump off the top of the bridge to land on top of me so that they could mug me and take everything and run off. And essentially, these are what I've called ninja hobos. So then this course got me thinking, there should be a game, Ninja Hobo. And that you get onto like a moving train. So I'm thinking that you could do it from a 2D perspective, but it might be cool to do it like a 3D perspective, like on some of the later Gears of War levels where you're actually running down that train. And the first Gears of War, I think, ended on a train.
Yeah.
Yeah. So where you're running down that way, and you've got your little hobo stick with your red ball at the end that you're using like Donatello, and like fighting
Hobo
off the
stick?
other...
This is not something I'm familiar with.
The little hobo stick that has the little kerchief tied where all his
Oh,
stuff's in.
yeah.
The 1940s hobo.
Yeah,
Not the modern hobo who has a fanny pack or
and it's sitting outside of exit 373.
I don't think you can legally do this, but it would be cool if every hobo was randomly named from John Hodgman's list of 700 hobo names from areas of my expertise.
I haven't read that book. It's still on my list, but
700 hobo names.
700
Get the
hobo names.
audiobook. The audiobook is so much better because he actually reads them while
700
Jonathan
names?
Colton plays Big Rock Candy Mountain.
That's excellent. So this would be Hobo Ninja. You basically you're on the train. You're a hobo fighting for hobo position. You want to be in the better boxcar, so you were fighting off the other hobos, knocking them out of the boxcar so that you can move up through the boxcars. I don't have much more than that, but I mean you can have little cool things where it goes under bridges and all that, so you have to like duck. I don't know what other hobo weapons could you have.
I don't know.
One of those little hobo forks, the ones that extend.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
That's not authentically hobo, I don't think.
I would say any sort of multi-tool that has like a fork and a spoon and a little knife that doesn't cut anything, but it's got the little serrated edge.
Yeah, again, hobo tools,
You
not
probably can
authentically.
opener.
You could.
A
Wow.
hobo
And one of
probably
those
can
like
open a can
old-fashioned ones, like the one that doesn't have like the gears
Yeah,
or
that you
moving
actually have to,
part
like,
that
rock.
you have to. Yeah.
Dylan, I think we're missing an obvious one here.
What?
Ricochet biscuit.
Bow bow bow. I don't know why. That's Blues Brothers. That's not.
So there you go. There's a game of the week. Somebody jump on that. Tell Steggs.
Make it happen.
He can have that one. He can make it happen.
It's a loose concept. You can fill it in however you like.
We give that to the Creative Commons and the internet.
We're
That is our
sorry.
gift.
We are so sorry.
That's more really our payback than a gift.
For this week's list of games.
But like I said, this is a great ad for the tech co-op. Hey, come down to our community events.
We've got
people
ninja
won't,
hobos.
People won't kill you down there anymore.
Hey, come down to the tech co, because like I said, there are 20-something college girls constantly jogging by.
Done. I'm there right now.
Oh.
Honey, I'll be home late.
These are facts.
Yeah, I've come on the podcast this week to collect my royalties from These Are Facts and Gold Digger Games, because I came up with that in chat.
We should mention that John is a ghostwriter for many of the great jokes that you hear on GameMarx podcast.
That's true.
The unwilling and unknown ghostwriter.
Didn't These Are Facts come from Family Guy?
Yes, because there's it's where he's talking about Ben Affleck marrying Jennifer Garner, but Matt Damon married a waitress or something. He's like, these are facts.
Oh, please don't sue us.
But
you made it like a catchphrase.
Yes.
Like you did make it the catchphrase.
Yes.
All right, I'm going to bring up some news here. The big news is
Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3?
No. Well, news in the indie world.
Oh, okay.
Cthulhu Saves the World. Xbox Live indie game developers are making tons of money all of a sudden
on Steam
by going to Steam, and not even like going to Steam and like look at my past body of work of games I have done. And my next game I will give to you because you want an exclusive. You're Steam. You don't want to just redo a game that's been up there for a year. Gonna have to get her. I don't know if she's coming out. So,
come on, kid. We're doing something here.
Yeah.
What's up with you, man? What the hell?
I can only edit so much.
You're being very unprofessional right now, Jasmine. How dare you?
Go talk to Bob the Panda.
Go in the corner.
Oh, I don't know that has to go. Okay, we're gonna try that. For anybody listening to the audio podcast, we just slid the child around the corner so it's no longer in visible range.
It was the saddest thing I've ever seen.
The bottle has just now been thrown on the floor in protest.
And we're not doing anything about it.
This works for a parakeet in a cage. I don't think this works for a child.
We're just going to put a blanket over and she'll go to sleep.
And they'll go to sleep.
Nighttime.
It's worked for her a couple times.
So, yeah, back out there. They're not going to Steam and saying, like, hey, I've done some really good games that have critical success, on this indie channel. Of course, there's no commercial success because there's no such thing on Xbox Live indie games. But, and then, like, can I do my next game on Steam? They're actually going to Steam with the exact same game that was on Xbox for like a year and just porting it over.
Yep. Now, to be fair, they had to do a Kickstarter, and it took a lot of effort.
Well, wait, no. The Kickstarter was because Microsoft was going to hold his check for 6 months. So he made enough money to pay his team off of Xbox and to keep them around to do a PC port. The Kickstarter was, I won't get that money for 6 months because of the way Microsoft actually pays the indie developers. He needed to keep people together so, the team could stay together to do the port, and he wanted to add alternate play modes and give some enhancement to the game as well. Do the things they didn't do.
They cut for time. Xbox release.
Yeah, on a time for release. But that's specifically Robert Boyd and Z-Boyd Games. But I mean, they're going over. There's a number of Xbox indie game developers that are either on Steam now or going to Steam. I've seen more frequent posts. And for comparison, Robert Boyd posted that one weekend on Steam made more money by far than a year on the Xbox.
And these are priced, I think, $3, aren't they? Or
yes, Steam is $3 for both games. He put up both Cthulhu Saves the World and Breath of Death.
$1 game and a $3 game is what they were originally.
He released those as $1 and a $3 game on Xbox.
So it's not that these are priced any higher. It's just
and they're
what they
are.
They're
the same games, and it's really that. I think this is a good case for things we've been saying a long time. If Microsoft would market this channel, if people would know that there's indie games, if they would stop treating them as second tier and cramming them down and putting artificial limits in place so that they cannot compete with the XBLA and the publisher titles, these titles get popular and make a lot of money, and now Steam is making a lot of money off of Microsoft's Xbox Live Indie channel because they're getting basically the best of the best developers.
Yeah.
Rather than us getting to keep these developers on the Xbox.
Now, the trick with Steam is it's not as open as indie games is, but, that's not to say that Xbox needs to go to a curated system if, say, the Kotaku list was a little bit better, if they were more featured.
I think the only case that I know of that was a good game that Steam rejected was Radiant Games.
Yeah.
And I think it was rejected because Radiant Games made some dual-stick shooters and some similar to dual-stick shooters, and because they're curated, they probably felt they had that genre covered. And they just didn't want to water down by releasing a bunch more, which is unfortunate because he's made some really, really good ones. I can understand their point on that. And that's kind of a weird case. I think if you're... I'm not going to say original, because original in games doesn't mean much. Every game is derivative of another game.
And someone did make the point on Twitter, and I wish I could remember who said this, that you have to remember the success of Cthulhu Saves the World. The reason it got onto Steam, in part, was the work on Xbox Live Indie games. So I think, the channel has value as a stepping stone right now.
I see what Mike's saying, though, but I don't think, Mike, that ideal of having an open channel where it's on the same level of play as, say, Xbox Live Arcade is going to be there, largely because of the, I would imagine that, someone who's in a larger publisher and, they're re-releasing an older game or something, they don't want competition from, somebody who might have something similar to what they're doing. Maybe another. You've got $15 Contra game on Xbox Live Arcade, and you've got a $2 game on indie games that gives you a similar experience for a budget price.
You're very right. I mean, the game industry, pretty much price colludes. Mm-hmm. All the game prices are $60. A new game, it's $60. There's not variance in that. Very rarely, unless it's Wii garbage, which is basically been flooded, but especially between Xbox and
difference
PS3,
is how fast the price drops.
There's a quick price drop, but all new games come out at $60. $15 for an Xbox Live Arcade game. If Microsoft opens up the ecosystem to where it's not this tight-gated, regulated system, right, and they make Xbox Live indie games more attractive, so rather than as soon as a game developer gets decent, he leaves Xbox Live Indie Games and goes on to Steam or somewhere else, they stick around because, wait a minute, I can make a living on this. Higher quality developers get attracted to it, and all it takes is, and I think Robert is not a previous game developer. Radiant Games,
he
was, and there's several other game developers on the service that make the decent games the one we like. We found out actually are professional game developers who left to go strike out on their own. That would become more attractive to them, and that upsets the apple cart. That upsets the ability to sell $15 Contra game, right?
Yeah, well, think about it. You have Hardcore Uprising on Xbox Live Arcade. I know Konami put a lot of publicity and everything into that game. If you followed them on Twitter or Facebook, you saw constant posts, Hardcore Uprising, buy the game, get the demo, get the DLC. But you open that up to, say, Plague, which came out this week on Xbox Live Indie Games. It's a similar experience. It's much cheaper, and it's a derivative game of basically a genre that Konami, if not originated, at least popularized back in the day. Yeah, that the Deep Pockets are going to have something to say about that because they're getting competition, and rightly so. because now they're having to deal with the problem of they're too big to compete because they have, in order for that project to get approved, they have to have the marketing. They
I
have
think
to be
the
able to
issue that Microsoft's going to find themselves in, and they're starting to do this. They're definitely doing this on the PC side. I mean, games for Windows Live or Xbox PC, whatever they're going to call it now, since they moved it to Xbox.com, is a joke. It's a sad joke. No, you use Steam. Everybody uses Steam. Steam has the cool shit. Steam has all the fun games. Steam gets Terrarium. You know, the Minecraft, the 2D Minecraft game that's going around now. That's getting really popular. All this stuff breaks on Steam, so the eyeballs go to Steam, and the buyers go to Steam. And they're not getting anybody on Games for Windows Live, because Games for Windows Live is still the high, old school publishers. It's still your EAs, it's still, you know, your Activisions, and, you know, your Konamis, and you better be a big name to be on Games for Windows Live. We're not going to just take, who are you, Robert Boyd? Yeah, we don't, Z-Boyd Games, never heard of you. Go get a major publishing through EA and get them to publish on the service. That's how you get to Games for Windows Live. They are, granted, the console makers suck so bad, all of them. Like, they all are really bad. But, I mean, they're really, from one console maker getting it right, from losing the whole thing. Like, it could shift so fast overnight. Like, if one console maker came in and really said, like, okay, we've studied Apple's App Store and, you know, Android and the changes that they're going through. We've looked at Steam, and we've looked at these places that are allowing an open system and how they make sure they curate or promote to the top. Because that's really one of the problems in Xbox Live Indie games. The good stuff doesn't come to the top. The good stuff gets buried fast. It's just a new release list. That's that's all that's there.
Yep.
And the other lists are either manipulated or funky algorithms to calculate them. They don't always, they're not based on sales. They're not actually based on what people are buying. They're based on what people just download, which is usually random stupid crap. But they never buy, and that doesn't get reflected. So, I think, you open it up, you have the lower quality, you have the junk, you have the Plague that's a knockoff of the Contra, that doesn't really help overall for anything, and you don't have a way to let that go to the bottom and let the Cthulhu make sure that comes up and stays on top, so when somebody goes in and it's like, what's good here? Like on Steam, there's a whole social component to that. I can just, hey, check this game out. Hey, I bought this game for you, Dylan. Boom, here's, I did that with Terrarium. They had like a 4-pack, and since my daughters played Minecraft, I went ahead and bought the 4-pack and, sent to my daughters and Cicely, here, let's all log in and play Terrarium now. Just like Minecraft, but fucking brutal. I died maybe 2 or 3 times in Minecraft.
I'm sorry, have you seen creepers? That is just painful.
Like a creeper. It's like, oh wow, creeper. Oh, okay, I learned what that is.
Everything I created is gone.
No, man, there's flying eyeballs that beat the shit out of you, and not like zombie
brutal,
or two,
brutal.
Like hordes of zombies, and they're intelligent. Like if you build a house, they know to oh, you've built a house. That's your structure. Target this, knock it down. So
why every time Chinese build a shitty wall, them Mongolians gotta come knock it down? So that's a South Park reference. I'm not being racist to those of you out there.
I didn't go
if you quote someone else, it's
totally legitimate.
I didn't go into my horrible Asian impressions.
Yes, please
which is probably bad. Really,
right.
Dab in
our
the face.
our roommate will do that in the middle of a Chinese restaurant.
Yeah.
So
well, and not even that.
It could
good.
be worse.
But so the sad thing is, the good thing is that Steam is very open to XNA developers, taking a lot of them in. Terrarium's actually XNA too, because it made me install the XNA framework when I launched it, which was weird because it's like I have that. Steam.
Yeah.
You don't know that I have that already, but Terrarium,
So it just goes through the repair.
So it's good that as an XNA developer, there is a very lucrative platform. It sucks that it's curated, but yeah, you're gonna have to prove yourself somewhere. I mean, you're gonna have to. That's the way they've chosen. They don't have a problem with a $2 game, being on there, a $3 game. Like, hey, that's what you want to charge over there in your little indie game. but they're gonna want to look for something, I guess, you know. So I mean, if you're looking at it and you're just making a Contra knockoff, and there's nothing unique in your Contra knockoff, they probably won't, you know, take that. So you want to have some uniqueness, but then again, all games are derivatives, so you don't have to be completely unique. Uh-oh.
Yes, Skype has failed. Can you pass the bottle opener, please?
I don't know how those two things are connected, but I feel like they are. Skype makes you want to drink.
I don't know if we'll have the magic reconnect.
Skype makes me want to drink. I don't trust Skype.
I'm surprised it's lasted as long as it has.
You got an in and an out at the same time. I think we're
back.
Yeah, I'm here.
Yay!
Yay.
You know, I should not have upgraded Skype.
No, I'm still using version 4 because I don't trust anything else. I've had too many crashes.
This never happened before, and now it's happened to 2 guests. Where it drops and it reconnects itself, but yeah, it's really bad on that. All right.
I'm not certain you'll like this sweet tea. It tastes like actual sweet tea that put a little bit of alcohol and then some sweet and sour into.
Did you put her to bed, or?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
It's 11 o'clock.
Like that matters. 11 o'clock. The 8th-month-old, you know.
She's got school tomorrow.
Yeah.
Mummy finger.
Oh.
Passive aggressive.
Australia.
Maybe you shouldn't have that
is
second.
Getting ready to accept an 18+ rating on games.
Which means they won't censor things as badly as they did before,
well,
right?
So right now, if a game gets a mature rating, it is not allowed in Australia at all.
Right, okay, that's the issue.
And then finally, they've gone through courts and all that, because basically they're allowed mature movies. There's an 18+ rating. Games and movies, I guess, share the same rating system in Australia. And the movies are allowed to have that, and so the games basically like, look, you either ban movies or, you know, games can have an 18+, and they get sold under the 18+ rules there. And it looks like that's going to go through. That's going to change. Why I bring that up is I think that's why indies are kept out of Australia. Like I said, that's one of the markets we're not allowed to be sold in, because Microsoft labels all indie games, since they're not rated, they all get the 18+ rating, even though we can't have content close to what is in Catherine.
Well, not just that. I'm sure just the fact that they're unrated is an issue, considering there are legal issues. I mean, in this country, there are no legal
issues. It's
all self-regulated.
It's an opt and self-regulate, and it's kind of bullshit. Because, well, I mean, if you think of, like, the App Store, and even the Windows Phone Marketplace, like, they don't force, like, oh, well, since they're not rated by the ESRB, then these games will be marked 18+. It doesn't care, you know? Steam doesn't care that your game's not rated on the PC. So, I mean, there's tons of outlets where these things are not rated. Now, the ones that are sold in a retail store, you know, different. Okay, so those have ratings on it. But to say, like, the downloadable content games must be rated by the ESRB seems a little weird.
That's getting complicated. Although I think the ESRB serves... and idealistically...
The ESRB is funded by the major publishers.
Well, yeah, but let me explain.
There's no incentive for them to make it approachable by an indie or an app developer.
Right. I'm not talking in the context of indie development, but I think they do serve a purpose that, you know, ideally they shouldn't have to serve, but because we have that self-regulating system, you know, there's less of a chance for, you know, some politician to decide they want to do what they did in, you know, what's happening in Australia and actually legally regulate it. So it's kind of a trade-off.
You have any thoughts, Rina?
Sorry, I have no voice.
You should save, I don't know if you're recording at your end, or maybe I'll send it to you, because, like, if you ever need, like, could you do a horribly gut-wrenching, pathetic sick girl. Like, you have it nailed right now.
Yes.
Like, that cough.
Do Orphan Annie.
Yes.
Before she gets picked up by the rich man.
I'm doing an emotion porn game where everything is just depressing as hell, and I need a character that is just gonna make you wanna cry your eyes out.
Do we just turn actual illness into a "can you do that voice" question? Did we just do that?
No, I don't think we asked her to do the voice. I think she really has no control over it. I think she's just doing it.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah? I'm sorry.
It sounded like it cut off right in the middle of it.
It did. Oh, okay.
I lost my voice in the middle of it.
Oh. I just want to hug you.
Yeah. So, I guess I won't try to make her talk anymore.
That's probably
so
for the best. She's worked hard. She's had a long day, and she's been kind enough to join us.
And she's in Alaska.
Yeah, we should just allow her to rest her voice and just enjoy. Let us do the rest of the work. We can do the heavy.
She can sit there and laugh silently.
Right. or regret this career choice.
Although, you know what? I mean, Rena, you work like at a GameStop or something right now?
I'm sorry.
No, I used to work at a store called Play and Trade. Now I just make coffee.
Oh, and so now Starbucks, now barista?
No, it's like an independent coffee stand.
A coffee stand.
Mm-hmm.
See, now you should, like, do the really sad pitch of, like, talented voice actors working at a coffee stand. I just need exposure. If just one indie a day would let me record a line.
She's only working there for the autobiography in 10 years. You know, I started out working behind the coffee stand, and now I'm the hottest actress on earth. You know, everybody wants to do every project. That's how this is gonna play out.
The story would be better if she was a waitress.
It worked with Harry Potter chick, didn't it?
Yep.
The one who wrote it?
Yeah. J.K. Rowling? Wasn't she, like, broke and destitute or something? And
something like that.
Yeah. Alright. R2-D2 Xbox. Dylan, you have to get this. Because you have the R2-D2 droid. Yep.
That's probably my question.
You have to get the R2-D2.
Isn't that redundant? R2-D2 droid?
Well, I mean, they already have to pay Lucasfilm for the name droid, so I guess you might as well.
Got the combo discount.
No, I don't know. It's the R2-D2
from the Star Wars licensing mega franchise.
The R2-D2 droid is cool. I didn't specifically like, oh yeah, I've got to get that one. I was like, I want to buy a droid too because it has the fold-out keyboard. So it was either the Global, which was like $40-$50 more than this, or this,
which you promptly dropped and cracked.
Well, on your Xbox 360 R2-D2 droid, so this is a white and blue Xbox. It's got a 320 gig hard drive, so a little bit larger than the 200. And it comes with a C3PO controller, which is a nice way of saying we spray painted the controller gold because I don't see
it's a
anything
Zelda controller.
Anything else on this controller other than
back
it's gold.
when cartridges used to be.
And it makes the R2-D2 noises. It comes with a custom theme and sound pack.
I'm suspecting at this point that Lucasfilm, Lucas has just realized that the Star Wars movie franchise, like he can't milk that as much anymore. So
what she used to be.
He's just selling out like, sure, you've got a device. How about you make an R2-D2 version of it?
He has trotted that whore
Get
out
this.
so many times.
It will make R2-D2 noises.
Not even the drunkard will buy it.
Wait. What if, I'm spitballing here, but what if we spray paint the controller gold and we make it a C3PO controller?
That's new, but I think the R2-D2 device thing is just boilerplate.
Okay, hold on. We'll bundle in a white Kinect and the shitty copy of the Kinect Star Wars game that nobody's going to fucking want to buy anyway. We'll bundle that in. Now, we got them all. You know how much this thing is going for? $450.
Oh, $450, higher than I expected.
Oh yeah, you got to pay for that Lucas license.
No,
that didn't come for free.
I'll admit, I would be tempted by this if I hadn't upgraded to the Slim console. Because
drunk and possibly on a bender.
Well, no, I mean,
and if the Kinect didn't still suck.
Yeah, Kinect. There's not really any Kinect games I want to play right now, but it's got a 300.
Imagine if they let indies develop Kinect games. Oh my fucking god,
that'd be weird.
That would be good and also bad.
Can you imagine Gold Digger games on Kinect?
That would be the bad part.
Of course, they would have trouble recognizing our poor Princess Leia over here.
Yeah. The Kinect hates me. It's technology and it's racist piece of crap.
It is. When I walked in this evening, when I walked into their house, Cicely was trying to get it to pause, saying, Kinect, pause. Kinect, pause.
Xbox, pause.
Xbox, pause.
Xbox, pause.
And it just completely ignored her. I knew because I was white with blonde hair and blue eyes, I just said, Xbox, pause. And it did. Right then and there. No questions asked.
You're throwing
Didn't know me from a hole in the ground.
It will, if I walk in the frame and like you're doing like the hand wave motion gesture. If she's got control of it, like it's identified her and she's moving around, and then I walk in frame, it immediately like will jump to me, and then I'll like have control. Like oh wait, there we go. White guy just walked in.
White guy.
The white guy just walked in. We obviously should take command from here.
If my daughter, my half-white daughter, says something close enough to Xbox anything,
it's listened to her before.
I love how you describe her as half-white. This is like the half-elf thing, In elven communities, they're referred to as half-humans,
Well, like, you can't call them hobbits anymore. Like, they're just, there was rights and licensing we didn't have, so now they're halves,
They're halvesies.
I started watching, since we're right before we get to games of the week here, started watching Lord of the Rings with my oldest daughter, because she plays D&D. So, it's kind of explaining to her of like, no, this is where all this comes from. Like, all this stuff and the Harry Potter and, the wizard that looks a lot like the wizard in Harry Potter, what's his name?
And the guy who looks like Magneto.
Well, she's not up on X-Men. We did Teen Titans. I actually bought her comic books of Teen Titans. I mean, she's up on comic books. She's actually read actual comic books. And I got, like, some Teen Titans book from the 70s, like Teen Titans, and, like, they straight up hit on Starfire left and right. Like, it's just constant sex jokes from Beast Boy and Robin with Starfire. And Starfire is, like, super slutty in the 70s edition.
Well,
as opposed to, like, the super innocent character in the cartoons.
When they're Teen Titans in the 70s, they're 18 and 19-year-old Teen Titans.
Not 13 and 14.
Not 13 and 14.
This is like imported hentai sort of teen, where in Japan, they were like 13 and 14. But here in America, they're 18 and 19. Wink, wink. They're all in college.
Instead of high school.
Yeah.
This is why I don't want anything to do with hentai.
But we had the whole conversation of that
one of the
hobbits
reasons
are halflings. Because, she's watching the thing, and she's like, well, you said this was D&D. Why don't we have hobbits in D&D? Because they're obviously... I was like, well, you have halflings.
Tolkien estate.
And then...
Blame the Tolkien estate.
Okay, the version 1 had hobbits, and they got sued because that was, something that, came from this, and having to explain IP law to an 11-year-old is not a fun... Like, but why not? They both have elves. Well, you could cite an elf in an earlier reference,
just from mythology.
That is public domain, so that's okay. But yeah. So, but then, like, the one thing that she just did not grasp was, like, so why did they all wear their rings when they knew they were bad?
Because they're...
That's the backstory. You just accept that.
Honey, that's because they're all greedy sons of bitches, and now they're all, working for the man every night and day.
Well,
it's a metaphor.
That's the men, but like, why did the elves? Like the elves are supposed to be super smart, and just like you just accept it, okay?
Even elves can be greedy.
Because otherwise, Agent Smith wouldn't have any work to do besides voicing Megatron.
And he He does Megatron? Did he do Megatron in the first one?
In the movie, yeah.
In the movie, he was Megatron in the first one?
Yeah.
You have ruined that for me, because when I watch that again now...
Yeah, just...
Because people were pissed that it wasn't...
He is not a voice... That's actually one thing that really pisses me off.
He only has one speed. Go.
That's one thing that pisses me off, and I'll see if Rina is okay to chime in here. But it really pisses me off the amount of voice work that is given to a non-voice actor to sound like themselves. Like, I just see a lot of movies of, like, get some real voice actors. Like, don't bring in, Star Trek.
Patrick Stewart?
No, not Patrick Stewart, but he's one of them. But in Over the Hedge, they brought in... Like, Over the Hedge is almost entirely, this all-star, quote-unquote, cast. Steve Carell can do some voicing, and he plays a squirrel, but they bring in Captain Kirk,
Shatner.
Okay.
To do the Shatner thing. And
now, what's funny is, like, the show Gargoyles, that was
Jonathan
mostly...
Frakes
Yeah.
And, what's her name? Troy. Marina Sirtis.
Yeah.
Brett Spiner was on that. Like, it was basically a Star Trek The Next Generation...
With gargoyles.
Reunion. And,
well, the show is still running.
I mean, if they're on Family Guy, playing themselves... If it's Adam West playing Adam West on Family Guy...
Stewart playing Patrick Stewart says funny things with his voice...
Then do that, by all means. But, for God's sake, I really... I don't know. Maybe I'm the only one. Maybe people like...
No, it's a common complaint. Especially with a lot of the
Miyazaki movies, because Disney whores those out to... Claire Danes or somebody else. I'm like, I know that they're not going to, look great on the top of the box there, or where they have the little directorial information. But a voice actor that works with Bang Zoom or Funimation or one of those companies would do just as well, if not better, with those characters, and would be probably just as well received, or more so, by your target audience.
It cheapens the character.
It does.
Like when you take Cars, and you have
Owen Wilson.
Owen Wilson play the lead car. It's like you cheapen the entire backstory of that character.
Because now it has to be written for Owen Wilson, and the same for Larry the Cable Guy that was in there.
Oh.
That character was obviously tailored around him. Otherwise, they could have had a more, dare I say, more interesting character. I'm gonna get lynched. I'm gonna get lynched by the Pixar lovers, and I think Pixar ruined Disney more than Disney was already.
Well, in Cars 2, he actually becomes a main character, more of a main character. So that's part of the problem. Like, if he was just a side character,
Is Cars 2 the current one?
Yeah.
Yes. The new one? I haven't seen it, but I heard it sucked.
I've heard the same thing. I haven't seen it, but I'm just going off what I've heard.
It's still annoying, but it's not as offensive when it's a side character, at least. Like, okay, maybe not... He's too big of a... Larry the Cable Guy was too big of a character in that movie for me to say as a side character. But, okay, George Carlin playing the VW bus. That's a bit part, a few lines. He's a stoner, and he's arguing with the tank guy for a few lines in the original Cars. Okay. All right, we can do a pass on that one, but the main character, I don't know. It takes away so much to me, for like what it could have been.
Find somebody to be your next Nathan Drake.
Besides Marky Mark.
Dear Lord in heaven,
Yeah,
please do not mention that to me.
He's got it for the movie, right?
For the Uncharted movie?
Yeah.
There was a Twitter campaign to get Nathan Fillion to play him. I don't know.
He's kind of a ham actor. Like,
yes, he is. But
I've never seen him in anything serious.
Plus, I have beef with Nathan Fillion after meeting him at Dragon Con, but that's another story for another time.
Now, if they made a Shadow Complex movie, Nathan Fillion can play that. Because that guy has some snarky comments of like, "What the hell? There's a whole underground base here?" Like that would work. All right. Oh, Rita, any thoughts? Do you have? Does it matter?
We just ran over.
Yeah. I think she may have turned us down.
We are horrible, horrible people.
Swing and a miss.
Or she's talking this entire time, and her voice is completely gone at this point.
You've run it out of her, Mike. Congratulations.
I'm sorry.
You're fine, dear. You're fine.
You don't have to. You don't.
Don't force yourself to speak if you cannot.
Don't. No, we apologize for Mike. We're the ones who are sorry.
Is there any alcohol content on this label?
Yeah, I don't know. I got kind of weak. This Pilsner Urquell or whatever. Oh, it's 4%. That's why.
You may be at the point that.
No, I'm drunk. Because I went, it took me forever to find that there was 5% on there. It's right there.
To answer your question, Cicely, I do not see, unless it's in very tiny print and I'm just overlooking it, I do not see any numbers on here, unless 420 is the alcohol content.
Sounds like something else.
Yeah. All right. Let's get to.
I'm just drinking a Mountain Dew.
If you're sick enough, that will give you buzz too.
Red Bull and Mountain Dew. That's the drink of champions. It will allow you to transcend time.
All right. So now let's do our new releases of the week. These games were released Friday the 15th through
Thursday the 21st.
21st. Yeah. I'm sitting very far away from the computer. Can't quite read that.
I'm just guessing based on my knowledge of math and weeks.
We'll accept that. Our first game up this week is Quick Draw. This
sucks. I'm sorry, did I say that?
Constructive.
We did do video of this. It has some pretty nice graphics, but all
cool.
it is mash the button at the right moment, like.
Under the correct conditions, as you will hear in the video me describe, it's like playing a game with your older brother. They just keep changing the rules on you all the damn time, so you don't really know what's going on.
It's kind of a mini game thing. It's like if you took Mario Party and pulled out one specific mini game.
If you
that's what you
sold
have.
A copy of WiiWare where it was just the same game over and over,
with slight twists.
This would be okay on a mobile platform if it was a free game.
Yes.
If they tried to charge for this on a mobile platform, no.
You would stab them in the face.
Just limit everything. Like,
yeah.
It's okay as long as it's not anything ever.
Although I probably wouldn't sit through the ads to play it.
Our next game up is The Cannon. This one started off somewhat intriguing with the little brigadier general, the British...
accent, giving you directions.
Guy.
His accent made me want to stab him in the face.
but it quickly turned into you have it's a dual stick shooter,
single stick shooter. Really,
you can't move. So you just have the shooting stick, and you just sit in the center and shoot things that are coming at you.
Now what it does is you've got different things that come at you. You've got robots, ninjas, pirates, monkeys, and there are different types of weapons, and they all have their own charge meter.
Fire, ice, electric, and a vine.
Yeah.
Are we talking about Pokemon now?
I wish.
Kind of.
But it doesn't really matter. Like it tells you like, oh, the monkeys dodge, so you need to freeze them, and the robots work with electricity. But I found like everything dies from everything. Like and the monkeys don't dodge that fast. I could shoot the slowest fireball, and
if you're close enough. They did occasionally, but not enough for it to be an issue. The vine was kind of disappointing because it's supposed to be a whip, but
it takes too much for you to whip it.
Yeah, like
whip it good, dude.
You did have to whip it good. You had to get some. You had to really start spinning that thumbstick to the part where I felt like I was grinding the plastic on the thumbstick. I'm like, this isn't good for my controller.
It's a neat concept. I just don't feel like
if you move it swiftly from up to down. Or down to up, just like up, down, up, down, up, down. It actually whips it pretty good.
I just want to give anybody that's holding out hope for this week, give up on that now.
Nope.
Give up on that now.
That dream died.
All right. Next game that was released this week, Ace of Dynamites.
Oh my god.
We did video of this. This is a puzzle game without the puzzle.
Or legs, or arms, or a neck.
Yeah,
it has a floating head.
What more... A floating head that makes footstep noises.
Should you judge a man on the amount of body he has below the neck?
Judging a man? No. Judging a crappy indie game? Yes, I'm going to do it.
This to be fair, this kind of has the Adventures of Lolo vibe, where you're trying to kill enemies and push blocks around and things like that.
I will not have you sully the good name of the Adventures of Lolo by mentioning it.
I understand that. I'm not saying that it is exactly like
Lolo
that.
Lolo required thought.
It did.
This would be a good drinking game.
Like,
just drink during the game. Don't not wait for anything. Just continually drink. And you'll get so drunk at some point, it'll become a challenge.
The problem was with the tutorial, they have like one level to show you how to move around, and then another level to show you how to move around walls. It moves to
tutorial. Like, you get
slow.
into the short game, and it's still just as ridiculously stupid easy.
When we hit the 8-minute trial, I think we were starting to hit levels where you had to do some.
You were having problems because the controls sucked. That's
that
where we were
at
when it ended.
Okay.
But no, I think if you go back and look at it, we got quite a ways into the shorties or whatever they call that. Like,
there's a short game and a long game, I think, or something like that. But
we're talking about golf now?
No.
I wish.
Plague. Our next game up.
Robot Contra.
Yeah.
4-player Robot Contra.
This is Contra style. Even down to, like, of course you didn't have a thumbstick. You did have a D-pad to play with on a Nintendo, but down to I can only shoot at 45-degree angles. But it didn't have an auto fire. Like, you had to keep pressing the button.
Yeah, unless you had like the minigun or something.
But that ran out.
Right.
So like in Contra, like you would keep it, like until you died.
And it's a
or
certain
got
number of shots, not how long you. It's not a certain time limit. It's how long you depress the button.
I mean, it's got boss battles in it. The little story segments and the graphics that pop up, like, there's some skill to that, but the actual there's some skill revealed in that, but the actual gameplay and the game art that you're playing seems like it's almost like somebody else did that. Like a guy started and made like all this great artwork, and then got hit by a bus, and like his untalented hack of a son picked up and finished it.
And created the actual level art as opposed to cutscene.
Yeah.
I think they're kind of going for the retro vibe, but it's not quite picking up.
It's the retro vibe minus level or boss design.
Again, I throw party foul on that. Like, don't allow the word retro to mean shitty graphics. Like, that's...
I'm not saying they achieved it. I think that's what
graphics
they were like.
Good.
They were going for two different styles between the cutscenes.
When you go retro, in Super Mario, those graphics were good in their limited palettes and limited, pixels. Yeah. If you have a limited palette and little pixel style, and then you still look good, then you can unlock achievement retro. But
right.
because your graphics look shitty, retro's not a cover.
No.
And these kind of look shitty.
Yeah.
I mean, even the mock-ups of the Windows computer, like, screenshot the Windows computer or something, like, just get a better looking... Like, those look like Windows from the original Macintosh.
Yeah, that is true, because they had those sprinkled throughout the levels. Although, when you get later into it, it seems to be this video game theme.
It seems like it's going to riff on a lot of classic video games. It starts to riff on Mario Brothers, but it's not really developing its own identity or adding anything to the shooter genre. It's scroll to the right and shoot shit.
And also has the worst story I think I've ever conceived of. Malware has generated some type of apocalypse where only porn and games have survived.
Well, it's just one single... It's only one single computer that survived.
One computer survived, and the guy has porn hanging in his wall.
I think...
He was probably the guy who started all this malware shit.
There's a scene where they show, like, the window of him scanning his computer, and the only thing he has checked to scan is games, so...
I suppose he's going to take it one at a time, It makes sense.
Our next game up is Tourist Trap. And I guess...
It's a trap.
I guess this is an adventure game?
Yeah, it seems to be your 3D...
In the trial, they don't let you pick up shit.
Yeah.
So you got all these items, like, pick this item up and go take it over here and put it with this other item, and now... Like, you can't do that, because you can't pick shit up in the trial. So, after about a minute and a half of that, I just fucking exited this game.
I stayed in it because Jasmine was singing to the music.
Yeah, it kind of has this Bioshock
in the first minute of the game, although I only played 90 seconds total,
like they're trying to be
Bioshock.
Bioshock.
To turn off the music.
Oh, I didn't do that.
I'm going to go ahead and take this opportunity, since I know that Mike will never want to have me back on the podcast after this fiasco, but indie developers, stop making quote-unquote demos where you can't actually fucking play the game. Just stop it. Stop it.
No, I'm behind you on that, because we're going to play trials, and if your trial is shit, I'm not going on. I'm not going to buy every game and play every game on the promise that maybe there's a full game behind a shit choice of decision in the trial.
And the funny thing is, like, this is something that I think from most developers' perspective, it's like, well, if we put this hook in there that you have to go on, buy the game to go on, then you'll buy the game. But
if you don't let me do anything except for walk into your game, that's shit.
Yeah, let's be adults about this. And,
yes.
Just allow us to play the game, allow us to exit the demo, and we'll make our own decision, and it'll be based on the merit of your game.
You don't have to let me play the whole game. Just let me play a few things, get a hang of it, and then I'll see if I want to go from there.
Remember Loot Fest, where we played Loot Fest? The whole point of the game is to rack up points and buy loot. And you can't buy loot in the demo. Somebody posted in the comments to basically confirm the reason you can't buy loot in the demo is because that's the whole fucking game. Like, you buy these couple pieces, and that's it. It's done. There's no depth of game. And now when you do this, when you put in a gameplay limiting demo, I'm starting to wonder, like, well, do you have a full game? Like, if you gave away that, if you let me connect items, would I have solved your adventure game in under 8 minutes? The
more of these you play, like, considering how many trials we play, you get a much different perspective than you would if you just, went in and
burned so many times.
Picked up a couple.
I don't know if I can love again.
I'm just going to throw this out there. If you don't have more than 8 minutes of content in your game where you can't even put it all into an 8-minute
you don't
demo,
have a game.
Yeah, you don't have a game.
You don't have a game.
You probably shouldn't be releasing.
No, probably should think on that and add something to it. Well, speaking of which, place the arrows on the floor. Now, this is not a single-player game.
No.
You have to have 2 players.
And I have my own beef with games like this.
And it took me forever to figure out, because I accidentally started the game with 2 controllers, with 2 people on the same controller, to figure out the controls that way, so I could actually figure out what it is. But it's nothing more than you place an arrow on the floor, and the little stick figures that run across it will turn in the direction of that arrow, and you try to get them to go into your goal versus your opponent's goal, and this is just
very, very, very simplified Lemmings. Again,
that's an insult to the Lemmings.
Well,
that's an insult to the intelligence of real Lemmings. Speaking of which, our next one up is Phonics.
Oh, jeez. It's the game that teaches you how to read in the most ass way possible.
This is so far off the rails, we had to do video of this, because this has to be seen to truly appreciate how off the rails this game has gone. And I don't mean off the rails, crazy, cool, awesome. I mean divorced from reality of who would ever
want to,
it's
come up with this and then want to play this.
It's a game about learning how to spell that's so complicated and boring in its execution that even adults do not have anything interesting to say or have any reason to play it.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think it's an educational game that is the difficulty level, not the difficulty of the educational content, but just the game mechanics is so complicated that
as a guest,
it misses its
as a guest
target.
And someone who is not a part of the Xbox Live indie game development community, I feel like I'm in a unique position to say this. It is a high watermark of terrible design, terrible concept, and terrible art, and terrible programming. Even the text is bad. And the fact that it's surrounded by those, reddish-orange Mario blocks for 90% of the screen, it's just an eyesore that I don't understand why you would buy it. But wait, there's more. Mike, how much would you pay for a game like this?
Well, I don't think I would pay. But if you were going to price tag it, I would say not more than $1.
Wrong, sir. This game is worth $5 American dollars.
Or 400 moon monies.
Yeah, 400 space dollars.
Space dollars.
Take, as we say in the video, take that money and do one of several things. Give it to a ninja hobo, light it on fire, or my personal preference, go to helpjapan.onepiecePodcast.com and donate it to Japan. Because you'll feel better about, one, having done something good with your $5, and two, having not supported this game with that $5.
Those ninja hobos need to eat and kill.
They do. Sometimes you break your hobo stick. Next game we have up is Alien Hideout. We did not do video on this. This, though, it's not a good game, but it shows more promise. Like, you could mess around with this a little bit in a formula and maybe get this to something interesting.
Yeah.
Because you're in an open 3D arena. You have to kill all the aliens that are running around aimlessly in the arena. It would be better if there were things to hide behind. Things to move in and out of.
But you're skating! Ice skating!
If the arena was something besides an empty box.
Yeah. I mean, that's what it is.
I used a lot of grenades.
That the aliens and the spaceships had like some kind of intelligence to them instead of randomly running around.
Well, they kind of run at you.
Then you have to destroy their base.
Which means usually running across the whole level.
But you have to kill them and destroy the base.
It's not really streamlined gameplay. It's the problem.
It could be something. It's not right now.
Yeah.
But it at least it was like, okay, there's a German of an idea here. Our next game up is Star Ninja. We did shoot video of this, and this is in the Angry Birds genome of games. Although you're not actually pulling back and launching, what you're doing is trying to hit all the pirates, by throwing a little throwing star.
That's two Ninja versus Pirate games we've had in this, or two Ninja and Pirate games we've had this week.
I don't count the other one really as Ninja Pirates because it had robots and monkeys.
Yeah.
Totally different.
I'm just like...
And the pirates and the ninjas were both trying to get you.
And you couldn't tell either one of them because they were such crappy graphics.
Well, I'm just wondering like what the percentage of Ninja and Pirate games to non-Ninja and Pirate games is this week. There's got to be like a metric or a barometer for the quality of the week.
Too hard, huh?
Yeah. So the Ninja game,
it's
you
important.
throw the star, it bounces off the walls and stuff, and you knock out the pirates. In none of the 5 trial levels, though, did it reveal that this was going to become any kind of a puzzle, right? Because, I mean...
Just aim and fire.
Just aim and fire and let it randomly bounce around, and eventually you'll knock out the pirates.
It's kind of a random physics game. Again, good on a phone, maybe.
It's like Breakout without, any of the things that make Breakout fun.
I don't know. I wouldn't really have compared it to Breakout, but I guess I kind of see what you mean with the bouncing.
Physics, though. I mean, it's not like Angry Birds where there's that visceral, stuff's falling over, and you're trying to carefully, plan your shot and place your shot to get a certain match. I mean, it's just there seems to be very little in that vein. As if I do this and it takes some degree of doing for me to achieve this shot, then I can blow up the entire level, all at once.
Right, I see what you mean.
There's none of that.
Our next game up is Combo Red Moon Rising.
I don't know how to describe this. It's basically...
Think of the most frustrating control scheme you can come up with. This is worse than that.
Well, it's really... It's not a rhythm game, it's a button mashing game. Basically, you're given a screen full of 2 button combos, and you have to press them in rapid succession to build up your energy meter. If you combo those, you build it up faster. Basically, you build up energy so you can fire missiles at another planet.
Yes, and the pace is painfully slow.
It's like Rock Band without the instruments, the fun, or the music.
It's not... There's no... The funny thing is there's no, like, timing exactly. You just have to pick one.
The rhythm and the timing, then.
Yeah, so what you have floating around the screen randomly, like, 2 buttons. And there's several of these. And so if you just see like a B and an A, you hit B and A, that disappears, and you get some power. If there's no B and A on the screen, then that doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
But these just randomly float around the screen, so you could just sit there, and then do a bunch, and then sit there.
Do you get penalized for hitting a button when there's nothing on the screen?
Yeah,
if you... a bad noise, I know.
Which actually, I ran into problems because you have to pause. I'm assuming later levels will have longer button combos, but you have to pause after typing in 2 buttons, or you'll break your combo because it'll think you're typing in 3 buttons. There's a germ of an idea here, but I don't know what it is.
I couldn't fire anything. I could not fire a single missile.
You have to hit the D-pad over and hit A
I tried
twice.
that.
And you have to have 200 energy to do it.
Idea
I tried that too.
The idea is to put in Marvel vs. Capcom 3 and go into training mode.
I guess that's basically what it is. I mean,
idea.
Our last game up is ball of shit. I mean, ball of shit.
That was mine too.
That was mine last night because I played this game. That was an immediate... I don't even know if that's an unintentional...
Is that like a trebuchet, but it's a cannon?
Even the developer's got to be aware of how shit this game is. Shit this game is.
Like, we were mistaken
whatever.
that our game was okay, but...
Basically, you've got a cannon, Angry Bird style. You have to fire a ball at a target. And the funny thing I realized about this game, the more they added to the screen, like the more obstacles you had to go through,
the easier it became.
Because
the
you
ball
knew
bounces off everything, so you don't have to get the shot just right.
And you also knew what to aim at.
Yeah,
a little bit better.
There was suddenly a set path to go through, and it's like, I think I should just shoot
it
along this open area.
But yeah, you also had the bounce,
and then you couldn't actually control the power. It was a timing bar crap, so you get the bars going up and down, and you have to hit the button.
It's like the
high.
kick meter on some of the old Madden and Tecmo Bowl.
Yes, except like on the old ones, because it doesn't stop moving.
Right.
You know, it's constantly. It's not like the new ones where you hit the start, hit the stop type. No, we
It's like old school Tecmo Bowl.
So that wraps up the new games for the week.
Oh.
You know what time it is now.
No.
Game of the week nominations.
Plague.
Abstain.
You can't abstain.
No, you guys are not allowed to abstain after you gave Game of the Week to Gold Digger Games, only to find out when you played the full game, they are who we thought they were, and we let them off the hook.
I'm gonna Al Davis this.
I stood up for that.
I am going to Al Davis
I stood up
this
against that decision.
and abstain.
If you can choose,
I want winners.
Keeping it in the football genre.
With Gold Digger Games, you can't win with them, can't play with them, you can't coach. I'd rather have 10 guys and get penalized all the way.
You'd rather have 10 Minecraft clones
than play with Gold Digger Games.
10 Minecraft clones than play with Gold Digger Games.
I don't know about that.
The funny thing with the Minecraft clones is the Minecraft clone fanboys posting comments on each other's clone of why their clone is better in the comments on Xbox Indies.
Your game is still terrible. Just a little secret.
But that was weeks ago.
So, Plague.
This is now.
I guess we got a pretty strong Plague. Nobody's calling out for Quick Draw or Aces of Dynamite.
No. Not
Phonics. Can I get a Phonics?
You can get a Phonics.
Stab
in the face. Stab in the face.
Yeah, I guess because I was not.
Stegs votes Phonics, but Stegs doesn't get a vote.
Has Stegs played Phonics?
Possibly.
Stegs could not have possibly have played.
Because I never, I didn't watch the tutorial video, and I'll admit that I'm that guy. But
Stegs might know the guy who made Phonics, and maybe that's why he's doing it. Stegs, if you made Phonics, then shame on you.
No, he says he played a lot of Phonics.
Really?
He peer-reviewed Phonics. Why? Why did you let this out? This is your fault.
No, see, Stegs, I'm not going to give away his secrets, but Stegs has a method to his madness and peer review, and he does things for a reason. So it wasn't he peer reviewed that by a choice. we may have Can You Handle Two at Once, the sequel incoming.
Are you saying there's some sort of peer review buying system that's happening?
I'm not going to talk to Steggs' system because I think I learned it in confidence. I don't think what's said in the IRC channel, I think what's said in the IRC channel stays in the IRC channel.
I need to get into the IRC channel now and actually.
Steggs will rip you a new one in the IRC channel.
I just won't say anything.
So I'll violate the rule here for a second. So if you come into the IRC channel with some noob-ass question that you could have fucking Googled, or is a question that gets asked time and time again.
If I ask a question, it's only because it doesn't exist answered somewhere on Google.
Guy came in the question was, are the stats for your game not updating? My stats haven't updated. And Steggs, there wasn't even a 2-second pause. He goes, no, mine's fine. Must be your game. Must be your game is shit. Must be nobody plays your piece of shit game. Just immediately like that. It was like, wow. I wonder if... I don't know how the guy takes that, But be forewarned before you enter the IRC chat. It's a little rough in there. Gloves are off in the IRC chat.
2 men enter, 1 man leaves.
Phonics was made by...
a horrible human being who should be ashamed.
I
apologize if I
Epic Fog
come off as being too critical or too harsh of these individuals. I'm sure that they're all fine, upstanding young men. I don't know them personally. Have never met them. May very well enjoy their company. I'm just saying that they're terrible indie developer games as of this moment.
Well, and that's one thing we've noticed, especially reviewing more games, is a lot of these mistakes would be easy to make if you were just, designing this game. It's all in your head, how it's supposed to work. Phonics, there's an interesting concept there. It just didn't translate well to a game. And the problem you run into is, unless you have something to give you that external perspective.
I'm just saying that you should have thought better to make a game about phonics in which there is lots of hard to read text.
Yeah.
So hopefully, congratulations to Plague. I mean that's pretty much that is GameMarx Game of the Week. John ejected his droid. That's what that sound was.
Yeah, I'm working with your
ghetto
USB cable. That might kill me, I think.
Yeah, I was gonna say you might shock the shit out of yourself on that cable. I don't know how much amps are in there. I mean, there's 5 volts, but I don't know what amperage comes across USB.
I don't know.
What was I gonna say? I had irrelevant.
It doesn't
Congratulations to Plague.
Congratulations to Plague. You go back and look. We Cthulhu Saves the World. He's tearing it up. Go pull down the first Z-Boy games. I mean, go pull down these horrible text adventures that he did. So
I has the power.
Well, we're wrapping up. What do we got? Anything in chat before it crashes?
Not relevant currently.
Anything
Jennifer loves her husband.
Of course she does. I mean, who wouldn't love this? I mean, honestly.
You're still the only one to playtest. Blow me up. Boobies.
You should have tuned in earlier. The boobies already occurred.
Yep. That happened. That was the thing.
You'll have to wait for SportsCenter tonight. Catch it at the 11:30.
Yep.
Get the rerun. Get the highlights.
With an update on the NFL labor dispute.
Yeah.
That's it. Nothing.
Nothing.
All hearts and minds
Scroll
clear.
up.
No questions. No concerns.
Boobies.
Yeah. Such as our audience.
By your wife this time.
Of course.
You're just doing that for attention.
So
it's my wife, Dylan. Of course, she's doing it for attention.
These are facts.
These are facts.
All right. I want to thank John for coming out tonight. I want to give a very special thank you to Rina thank you for coming on. I hope off of this somebody goes to GameMarx.com and you look at the show notes and I have a link to go contact her and send her some indie work. She's an excellent voice actress
and a trooper. A real trooper. We appreciate
Thank you for coming on in the horrible condition.
I think she may be asleep now.
She may have passed out. The Benadryl kicked in. The NyQuil took over. Thank you. We loved having you on the show. Everybody else, we'll do this again in a week. Thank you for watching the show.
Oh, I'm sorry. I had it muted, so you couldn't hear me.
Oh, okay. Well,
so I was talking, but it's just like, you really can't hear me.
Well, thank you for coming on the show, and
yes.
I do hope, seriously, that this does land some work from this, because, free, guys. She's offering to do voice work for your game for free.
Just so she can say that she's in a game.
I see this on the forums all the time where they're saying, like, hey, we'll share profits. And I laugh to myself because, like, you're not making any profits. Have you not seen what the other games have sold for here? But, everybody starts somewhere. And like I was saying, you go back to those early Robert Boyd games. Everybody starts somewhere. And you can look at how rapidly he improved in 3 years that he's been pushing out games.
I guess so.
Shipping matters. Get it out there, ship it, get better, go on. So we all start somewhere. All right. So this time, really out. Thank you, everyone, for listening to the show.
Thank you.
Thank you.